refuse. We will be like refuse. We will be like refuse.
Hey, this is B-Movie Mike, and this week I have a review of another classic slasher film. Believe it or not, this one is actually an American production. It was shot in and around Los Angeles, California, and was the last film to ever be released by Compass International Pictures. And the film I'm speaking of could only be 1981's Hell Night. Hell Night was produced by Irwin Yablans, the executive producer of the original Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween 3, and Fade to Black. Hell Night was directed by Tom DeSimone, who got his start in Hollywood directing adult films. He later would go on to direct Concrete Jungle and Reform School Girls. Hell Night stars Linda Blair, famous for her role in 1973's The Exorcist. Hell Night also stars Vincent Van Patten, primarily famous for being Dick Van Patten's son, and Peter Barton, who also starred in Friday the 13th Part 4, The Final Chapter, as the guy who got his face crushed in the shower. Hell Night starts out at a college party, being hosted by the fraternity Alpha Sigma Rho and its sister sorority, as a part of everyone's favorite night at college, Hell Night. The party then moves out of town to the gates of an abandoned old mansion named Garth Manor, where 4 pledges, 2 guys and 2 girls, must spend the night if they want to be able to join their chosen fraternity and sorority. Now, before they are abandoned for the night, the president of the fraternity gives them a little backstory on Garth Manor. Apparently, 12 years ago, the patriarch of the Garth family had murdered his entire family and then committed suicide. But when they searched the mansion, they only found 3 of the 5 bodies, leaving it to speculation that 2 of the children may have survived and still reside somewhere within the grounds of Garth Manor. Once everybody's gone and our 4 pledges are alone in the mansion, they split up into couples. You have the party guy and the party girl, and the rich kid good guy and the good girl. Not long after the couple split up and go their separate ways, the president of the fraternity, one of his friends, and the president of the sorority return to the grounds of the mansion to play some pranks on our 4 unsuspecting and soon-to-be unfortunate pledges. Apparently they have some speakers set up inside of the mansion so that they can try and scare the pledges with screaming and other moans and ghostly sounds. They even went so far as to set up a projector so they can make it look like the elder Garth's ghost is still roaming the halls of the mansion. It's at this point in the film that we, the audience, learn that one of Garth's sons did in fact survive the massacre of his family and is now starting to kill off the trespassers one by one. Now, to be fair, up until the kills kick in, Hell Night could be considered kind of lame. The first half hour is not the greatest. A lot of the dialogue is very lame and it's just groaningly bad, but once the kills kick in, we go into supreme slasher mode and it kicks it up a notch. One by one, everybody dies until we're down to the final couple. There's an extensive chase scene beneath the catacombs of the mansion, where our final couple make a gruesome discovery of all the bodies that the killer has stashed underneath the house. Our couple makes it back up into the mansion, then they are attacked again by the killer, and now we are down to the killer and the final girl, just like in all classic slasher films. As in most slasher films, the final girl is the good girl, and as I mentioned earlier, that role is played by Linda Blair in this film. After many twists and turns and horrifying near misses, she is finally able to defeat the killer and walk off into the sunrise as the only survivor of this true night of hell. Even though some of the dialogue is lame and some of the acting is pretty bad. That's right, Mr. Van Patten, I'm looking at you, pal, and I was robbed of the pleasure of watching your dumbass character die because you died off screen, and that really pissed me off. Other than that, the direction is solid. The mansion that they filmed this in looked great, the sets were awesome, the sound design was good, and the lighting was good. The makeup effects looked good, it was all practical, there was some interesting kills and some decent blood. The killer in Hell Night was pretty awesome. He kind of reminded me of Jason from Friday the 13th Part 2 and Friday the 13th Part 3 kind of mixed together. Just like Jason, he was a retarded mutant hillbilly that would stop at nothing to kill everybody that was unfortunate enough to trespass on his land. So overall, if you're a big fan of classic slasher films from the 80s like Friday the 13th, I can definitely recommend that you check out Hell Night. It's a pretty cool flick. Well, that brings my review of Hell Night to a close. Please check out all the awesome channels located in my More Channels of Movie Madness box there on my channel, and I'll be back next week with another review. Thanks for watching.